Alright, hello. It's your boy Brian from Team BrokeAzNinja coming at you with an updated psychic variant. I play psychics a lot of different ways, so I thought I might as well come to you with the one I'm getting the most success with. I call it the Heroic Overdrive. You'll see later about why I call it Heroic Overdrive. So the main card, 2 copies of Overdrive Teleporter. This guy is the power play. Basically, you resolve him, or my experience recently, if I resolve him, at least one of him, I'm end up in a good position. If I resolve 2, I'm probably going to win that game. From there, we have the standard 3 copies of Serene Psychic Witch. If you don't know what she does, whenever she gets killed, you banish a psychic from your deck to special summon your next standby phase, or the next standby phase. I play 2 copies of Hyper Psychic Cleric. It's kind of a staple if you play Overdrive Teleporter to play 2 Cleric. You ditch 1, banish 1 from grave when he leaves the field, sends to graveyard anyway, synchro, whatever, special summon that card. Then I play 1 copy of Silent Psychic Wizard, and that's it for the main psychic lineup. Now I'm gonna go on to what I like to call the +1 engine. 2 copies of Trap Restriction Mellow. Use her to get a hole in hand, helps you stall out until you get your overdrive. 2 copies of Heroic Challenger Assault Halberd and 1 copy of Thousand Blades. Now I need to let you guys know that this card is the real MVP. This card it's funny because I've won games off of just this card being engraved. But what makes Heroic Challenger Assault Halberd so important is the fact of when your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can just special him, which is perfect because you can just sack him for overdrive, pay the 2,000 and get your 2 level 3s on board for your big play. Plus, he's a free search as long as you hit something. As long as you kill something with him, you basically get searched because he does piercing. Him, it's kind of funny because I'll have a lot of times where I just my opponent's usually in a winning position. They hit me, I special summon Thousand Blades, summon some kind of tuner, and sink, and it ends up being a card that locks him down or just kicks him out of the game. Now onto the tuners. We play 2 copies of Psychic Commander, 2 copies of Esper Girl, 1 Jumper, 1 Recover, and 1 Glow Bolt. Now you can kind of go any way you kind of want with the Esper Girl. I used to play 1 Esper Girl, but after playing 1 Esper Girl and when 1 became dead, I needed the second one. So alright, on to the spell cards. If you're playing this version of the Band Psychic, you gotta play 3 copies of Vitality. Unlike Ritual Beast, where it's just kind of a temporary, consistency adder, this one actually, helps you with your power plays. If you have this in Overdrive Teleporter, you can usually get off a Beast, Spark, Yarn, Starter / Thought Ruler Archfiend play. So that it's a pretty strong card. 2 copies of Reinforcements of the Army, so you can get into your Assault Halberd a lot faster. Okay, 2 copies of Power of Duality. This, honestly, when I usually play, I actually prefer Supply Squad, but of course nobody has them, so when I play them in real life, I'm stuck with Power of Duality. It does what it needs to do. Usually if I'm using it, I'm playing defensively for that turn. One copy of Book of Moon, 1 Telekinetic Parallel, and 1 Foolish Burial. Telekinetic Parallel is an interesting card, especially when you level 2s from grave. And if you have a thousand blades in grave, he'll special summon himself from it. So It's kind of one of those weird texts that I play. Now for traps. 3 copies of Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Now if you don't understand why I play this, then you have not been looking through the monsters carefully enough. You don't really want a lot of your tuners in hand. You kind of want most of them in deck and hitting into E-Teleport. But if you do, this card makes it a lot better. If I open up Global and I have this card in hand, I'm good. If I open up 1,000 Blades and I have this card in hand, I'm good. And it also helps you put your opponent back a turn if you can. Then I play 2 copies of Trap Traits Trap-Hole Nightmare. This card I'm kind of still on the fence about. I mean, I've been playing it and it's been serving me pretty well, but I'm still kind of on the fence about it. It's not as, great as it used to be. Now, 2 copies of the Dimensional Prison. I was going to say D-Fissure. Well, this card, if you don't know what this card does, look it up. I played it over cards like Mirror Force because I'm just tired of dealing with floaters. So I just play D-Fissure, get rid of a key card, and then continue playing from there. 1 copy of Solemn Warning and 1 copy of Bomb Trap Hole. Stable, self-explanatory, and that's usually Monster lineup. That's not Monster lineup, Trap lineup. Overall with the deck, I would play Raigeki, but I've only had maybe 1 game where Raigeki was actually relevant. This is a casual, more of a casual build. If you want something a little bit more, I guess this could be competitive, but I mean, I have videos, but yeah, it could be competitive, but I just don't like it competitively. It's not, good enough to be played competitively. Alright, now for the extra deck. I play rank 3s and rank 4s in this deck. I play 1 Levier and 1 Soul of the Silver Mountain. Now, if any of you guys ever play Soul of the Silver Mountain, you're probably wondering how do I get it off, or Levier, how does it work? Levier, I mostly only play if I get Esper Girl stuck and banished. One of the weird things about Silence Like a Wizard is if your opponent bottomlesses it while you are using its effect, that monster still gets banished, but Wizard does not get replaced by the level 2. So I play him to get, my Esper Girl out of limbo and just kind of so I can play. And Soul of Silver Mountain, I don't go into him much, but when I do, he usually gets me back a Beast or a Barkion to continue playing with. So for the rank 4s, 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Castell, and 1 copy of 101. If I could switch out this Cowboy for an Exton, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But I don't have the cash for that. So I'm stuck with a Cowboy, a Castell, and a 101. These 2 are stables. This one is when usually games are getting close. Now for the Synchros. 1 copy of Armades, 1 copy of Naturia Beast, 1 copy of Naturia Barkion, 1 Goyo Guardian, 1 HTS Psyhemoth, 1 Black Rose, 1 Landoise, Stardust, Star Ruler, and your boy Scrap Dragon. Honestly, like I said, my Pod Dualities, I'm picking up supply squads instead of a Pod Duality, so that's where Scrap Dragon kind of comes in more, when he can just pop a dead, not a dead, but just pop a supply squad when you're kind of ahead and pop your opponent's monster, and then you can just, keep playing. The entire point of this deck, honestly, is actually either to resolve an Overdrive Teleporter and put yourself, basically lock your opponent out of the game, or if you're playing, since Pendulum stuff is becoming more relevant, there's a lot of the times where I just, first turn beast people. Like, I was playing against Pendulum Magicians, and so they went first. They set up their scale and summoned Eyes Pendulum Dragon. I was able to just use Phoenix Wind Blast, bounce, their card, bounce one of the pendulum zones, make beast, and I flipped over their odd eyes with Book of Moon. I happened to open with that, but I was able to kill it, and from that point on, they couldn't do anything, so they just scooped up. A lot of your wins with this deck will be your opponent surrendering. Honestly, I think I only have one game in all of my replays where it went to the end, and that was because I was playing against a 6-card agent player, and they refused to refused to give up. But other than that, that's about it for the psychics. Hopefully I'll be able to come up with maybe another variant, probably the more standard stuff not next video, but next time I decide to revisit. So that's about it. Y'all have a good one. Peace.